Well, we haven't seen anything like this here in Western New York, but down south there has been a real problem for people trying to get gas ever since that cyber attack that shut down a major pipeline over the weekend. The Colonial Pipeline supplies almost half of the East Coast's fuel, and you could see that concern in people who weren't just filling up their cars, but extra containers as well.
Yeah, and it's not just travel on the ground being affected. Jet fuel comes from that pipeline as well, and some long flights from Charlotte had to add stopovers in other cities so that they could refuel. Colonial says that this will all be resolved by the end of the week, so the hope is that we won't see those kinds of scenes for too much longer.
Well, joining us live to talk about this is Professor Natalie Simpson, Chair of Operations Management and Strategy in the University at Buffalo School of Management. Thanks for coming on and help us understand this a bit more. We appreciate it.
Oh, certainly.
So as we just said there, this is just expected to last for the rest of the week. I guess there maybe are some unknowns in that, but what happens if that isn't the case and this takes longer to resolve and longer to get this fully back online? Do you think there's a possibility that we feel any impacts here locally?
Oh, certainly. Actually, we really are already feeling the impact of it. I think it's kind of hiding under the fact that we're sort of used to the price of gas going up about this time of year. But arguably, if the last couple of days, if you've noticed it going up in the pump, it is not unrelated to this. And so if the delay continues, that could be our fate in our area, is that prices will continue to go up.
We talked about people who were, buying up a lot more gas than just filling up their tanks. And we've seen issues with hoarding and panic buying before in the last year or so. But how big of a problem is it in a situation like this?
Well, panic buying, always creates a problem. To a certain extent, it's sort of like a feedback loop in that it creates other panic buying and the problem perpetuates. Because in this case, most of the time where there have been instances of panic buying and you're seeing video from it, there actually wasn't a shortage of fuel in that area. But everybody has this on their mind. This is a significant incident. And so imagine this. So they go by the gas station and they see that there's somebody at the pumps and there's a car queuing up behind and a car behind them. And they think, oh my goodness, they're running out. I better join the queue. And so a lot of this panic buying, there's been reported panic buying in Florida. Florida's not affected by this shortage at all, but people are concerned. So at any rate, for the most part, the panic buying shouldn't be hugely disruptive to the fabric of society, but it is upsetting to people. And, here and there, it can create disconnects.
Yeah, there's one viral video out there of a woman putting as much gas as she can into a plastic bag and then putting that into her trunk. And you just, you feel bad because she clearly, it's not a smart thing to do, but she's clearly worried about it. Finally, I think this has shown maybe a lot of us just how reliant we are on not a lot of options. There's this one pipeline that's supplying so much of the country. Is there a better way that we should be getting gas around the United States, or is this just a risk that we live with?
Well, there's sort of like two layers to that question, because is there a better way? Well, in a sense of efficiency and low cost, no. That's why we have the big pipeline, right? And we're depending on it so much. There are other ways to move gasoline around, and that's actually why we're not out of gasoline. We're just, to our annoyance, watching the price rise, because now we're activating all of these other options that are less efficient than moving it by pipeline. And even, even in the area that's most affected, like the Carolinas and Virginia, where we're, seeing a lot of footage come out of, the reason that they're so heavily affected is because they're halfway in between the refineries on the Gulf Coast, and we're kind of lucky. We're not very far, relatively speaking, from a cluster of refineries in Pennsylvania and in New Jersey. So even if everything has to move by truck for us, if for some reason the two pipelines that serve our area, which aren't involved in this, were to suddenly be attacked as well, even if it has to come straight from the refineries, in our case, it's not that far away. You can move it by truck, you can move gas by rail, and something that they're stepping up right now is you can move gas maritime shipping. So all of these options, you just have to gear them up, and they all cost more.
It's so good to have a better understanding of how it all works. Professor Natalie Simpson is the Chair of Operations Management and Strategy at the University of Buffalo School of Management. Thanks again for joining us tonight.
Sure.
All right, and thank you everybody for joining us. We're out of time, but Channel 2 News at 6 is up next.
Enjoy your cicadas.